Hello all, and thank you so much for getting the Jamie skirt. So a few things before getting started. I know this is like the lazy part, but don't skip this part. So we actually worked really hard for this pattern so you can have like all sizes in layers. This meaning that you can actually download Adobe Reader. You don't have to pay anything for just printing the file. So actually, if you go to a copy place or you're gonna print it at home, you can actually select your own size. I can't tell you how much easier this is. So if you're a beginner, what I actually like to do is just go to my copy place and request them if they can only select my size and the base of the pattern. This is really important. The base and your size, just because the base is gonna print the size chart and everything, and also your size. So this is how it's gonna look like if you only print your size. So if you print your size, it's gonna be much easier because the error is gonna be like almost none. If you print the file, you don't have to pay anything. So it's just if you wanna save it. If you wanna save it, of course, you have to pay like a subscription. So have that in mind. I will strongly recommend you to print your size. You have two types of line, the straight lines and the like dotted lines. We actually do this so you can be able to modify your pattern if you want to. So it's much easier to have the base pattern and then modify it like starting from that. The dotted line is just for reference. So if you want to add more seam allowance, just get the dotted line and add it from there, most seam allowance. So the seam allowance is just included in the like straight line. This skirt has like two channels that goes from one side of the skirt and the other side of the skirt. I'm gonna leave a picture over here. And you can actually do this and not like use it at all if you don't like them. So you can modify this as you want to. I actually really like the channels because you can like have that asymmetrical shape to the skirt, but it's up to you. So be wild. And also about finishes and everything, you can actually select this and do whatever you want to. I'm gonna actually do the most easy way possible. So I'm gonna not use a serger or overlock. I'm gonna use just my normal zigzag stitch just because I think that is what people mostly have at home. So I like to like provide or do like the option that always is gonna be at home like for everybody. After that, I'm just gonna say happy sewing and let's get started. So after we print our paper pattern, we're gonna start assembling everything just to like get it started. I actually like to start with the straps because this is the most like lazy part. So we're gonna start with the adjustable ones. We have two of these that we cut on fold. So I actually like to use this method to create the like straps. We're gonna do the same with the waist strap. So exactly the same. Also, these are the straps that we're gonna use for the channels. So have that in mind. Okay, so for the waist strap, we are gonna just have one cut on fold. And for this one, I'm actually gonna close both raw edges just because this is not gonna be like hided or anything. So I'm gonna fold at the middle as we did before, and we're gonna press again at the center. Now we're gonna stitch everything that we just pressed. So we're gonna go from one side and then we're gonna close the open edge that we have. And we're gonna close across all the side seam.
gonna start with the front piece. So we're gonna make first the bottom of the skirt and then we're gonna make the top. So we have two box pleated at the front of the skirt, and we also have included the channel and the seam allowance inside of the side skirt. So you're gonna be able to see these better while we are gluing the skirt. So I will recommend you to mark all your notches, and also I like to mark where the pleats start. So we're gonna mark like one side of the pleat, the front, and also the other side. So at the front of the skirt we have like marked top stitch to the front. So I like to mark this. This is really important, you guys. You can actually mark this how you want to, but you have to have it marked. So you can actually do this with chop. I'm gonna show you. I'm also gonna mark it like that, but you can lose this like line. This is really important because we are making and creating the channel through the side of the skirt. So I actually like to mark where the front of the skirt is with a paint, and I also gonna mark again where my pleats start and end. And also the middle of the pleat is really important. Remember, we are working in the right side of the fabric, so we're gonna put together the pleats just like this. So bring the outer pleats marking together to create a fold. Pin that fold from the waist down to the sewing mark. I actually like to mark the 12 centimeters from here just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So sew a straight line directly along the folded line. So we're sewing from the wrong side of the fabric this straight line until we meet the 12 centimeters. So we're gonna press from the wrong side of the fabric. So take the inner pleat and center it perfectly. We're gonna have like our previous mark that we did, and we're gonna press. We're gonna do this with both of our pleats. Remember, we're working from the wrong side of the fabric. After we press everything, what we're gonna do is a secure stitch of what we just pressed, so just the pleats. After we mark everything for the back skirt, we're gonna proceed to make exactly the same for the front pleats of the back skirt. So we're gonna work from the right side of the fabric, and then we're gonna fold and sew at 12 centimeters. Exactly the same process, guys. created the pleats for the front and the back piece, we're gonna make the channel. So this is the most important part, guys. So we're gonna start by putting the wrong sides of the fabric together and sewing the side seams. So you're gonna have the raw edge from the right side of the fabric. Don't panic, we want this. So we can go ahead and put the wrong sides of the fabric together, mark your wrong and your right sides, and we're gonna sew the side seams of both sides. How the seam from our right side of the fabric is gonna look like. So we're gonna press that seams both that we just did. So actually when we create the channel, we're gonna hide these seams, so that's actually the best part. So before we are creating the channel, this is really important, guys, we have to do the hem of the skirt, because if we create the channel first, it's not gonna look like good, it's gonna have the raw edges. So I'm gonna do a double folded hem. You can actually do these how you want to. So we're gonna do the hem like normally we will do. Remember that we actually working from the right side of the fabric, and we're gonna hide the hem from the wrong side, but it's actually gonna look weird because you have like that side seam. So you're gonna go ahead and press that hem, and we're gonna create our channel. So we're working from the right side of the fabric, and remember the blue lines that we did at the beginning to the back and the front. So you have to go ahead and mark these again. So if you mark your notches at the top and at the bottom of the skirt, it's gonna be really easy to do this. So take the extended seam allowance from the back of the skirt, so your blue line from the back of the skirt, and meet the blue line from the front of the skirt, just like this. And we're gonna pin. Remember that the line that we mark from the front of the skirt is the top stitch line. This is how the channel is gonna look like from the outside of the fabric, and this is from the wrong side of the fabric. I'm also gonna sew along the tunnel of the wrong side of the fabric. Do this really close to the edge, because then we're gonna go ahead and pass through the adjustable straps. If you do this really small, then the straps are gonna have like really trouble to pass through. So this is how it's gonna look like from the front and from the wrong side of the fabric. We're gonna start by getting our adjustable straps. So remember that we have one raw edge and the other side is completely closed. So we're gonna go ahead and put our safety pin from the side that is completely closed. So we're gonna pass through the channel. I recommend you to start from the top of the skirt. So have a little bit of patience because we have a lot of fabric inside of the channel. So we're gonna go ahead and pass through the strap. Once we reach the other side of the skirt, so we're working from the bottom, we're gonna pull until we reach like the minimum amount that you will want for the top. So we're gonna pin here and we're gonna sew just to secure the strap. This is the top part of the skirt. We're gonna do this exactly the same for our both channels, and this is how it's gonna look like. I think it's looking quite nice, guys, so we can go ahead and check that everything is perfectly like attached. We're gonna go ahead and do the top of the skirt. We're really close to being over, so we're gonna save the bottom for later. So we're gonna go ahead and mark all of our notches. I actually really like to mark the middle of the skirt, and we have to mark our buttonholes. That is really important. So we have 2 for the top of the skirt. So we're gonna start with the front waist. I like to mark where my front is, and then I'm also gonna mark the waist on how it should be, but I actually gonna mark this later again, so don't worry. So first we're gonna put together the front of the waist and the back of the waist. And we're gonna put the right sides of the fabric together from the back and the front of the waist. And we're gonna sew the seams of each side of the skirt. We're gonna create our buttonholes. We have 2 that we mark from the beginning. So these are gonna be in the back side of the skirt. Once we create them, we're gonna open them with a seam ripper and go ahead and proceed. Now we're gonna create our waist. So I actually use my buttonholes as reference. So I actually like to do this just at the end, just to make sure that everything is aligned. So I actually like to mark where my like waist should end. Remember that we have to cover the buttonholes. So as we're using our buttonholes as reference, we're gonna mark from the wrong side of the fabric. This measurement is gonna be the one that you need depending on your buttonholes and how much you took from the hem from the top. So we're gonna go ahead and press. I recommend you to do this before. Remember, we're working from the wrong side of the fabric, so we're gonna fold towards the wrong side of the fabric. And we're gonna sew along all the waistline.